Gary, what's up, dude? Thank you for making time for us.
Thank you guys for having me. How you guys doing?
We good, brother, man. What's happening?
I'm just trying to be BMitch when I grow up.
Gary, you're older than me, bro.
I still haven't grown up.
So, Gary, I asked BMitch this, and he couldn't remember or come up with an exact number. Do you remember your 40 time? Because I looked it up.
My best time was a 4.32.
The one I found was 4.37, so that's even better. Holy moly, that is flying, man.
They asked me how fast you were, Gary. I said fast. Man, they can say what they want. Like, people, this is the thing about it. People look at that 40 time and they think that's the fastest a person run. Listen, when you're running by yourself, you can run fast. If somebody's chasing you, your ass run faster. You know what I mean? I guarantee I ran 4.1 when the dog was chasing me one time in Plaquemine, Louisiana. I put money on that.
I'm sure of that. But I was much better at 4.6 than I ever was at 4.3.
I bet. A little more controlled.
Yeah, I mean, you get knowledge over time. You get experience over time. You can get to understand the game better over time. So the longer you're in the league, the more efficient you become.
I bet. So, dude, let me ask you, Gary, because you've been in the area doing real estate, doing all sorts of business ventures, since your playing days, I believe. How different does everything feel now with the organization?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry about the organization, but winning tends to cure everything. When you win, people love you. When you lose, people hate you. Even back when we played, when we had bad seasons, people didn't like us as much. When we won, people loved us. So winning tends to cure everything. And, it's the cure-all medicine. So guys are playing great right now. As long as our defense keeps playing good, our offense is going to be spectacular. Special teams are holding their own as well. But our key is our defense. If our defense continues to play well, then we'll go far into this season.
Yeah, when you look at the way Jayden has been playing, and also, I mean, the receivers are helping him out and making some great plays. Terry is doing it unbelievable. I know that you've formed a relationship with Terry. Looking at those two guys leading the way, what are your thoughts of them?
I mean, I think they can take the team extremely far. I mean, Terry's a beast. I mean, he reminds me as a combination of me, Art, and Ricky, but he really reminds me a lot of Ricky in terms of how he catches the ball. Like, Ricky was the same way. If it came near him, he was coming down with it. And that's what Terry is. It just has to be somewhere near him. 9 out of 10 times he's going to catch the ball if it touches his hands. He's just an amazing receiver and a dedicated leader on the team. I mean, it's important you have leadership on that team, and I think Terry is doing a great job at doing that, as well as the young quarterback. I think the young quarterback came in and he did what most people don't do. He came in as the number one guy, and he didn't act like the number one guy.
Mm-hmm.
He came in acting like, what can I do to make this team better? How can you guys tell me what I need to do to help you guys make this team better? That right there completely made me look at him completely different. I was like, young boy know what he's doing. But I tell you what, our backup's not too shabby either.
Yeah.
Gary, BMitch has told this story, when you hear about a player dealing with an injury during the week, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. And he always references that you had hamstring troubles and then you'd be good to go on Sunday. Knowing kind of your background, and not to compare injuries and everything is different, do you have a thought on what kind of should or will happen with Jayden for this weekend?
I think, well, what drove me was fear at the end of the day. I didn't want somebody taking my position. And when my hamstrings went, Ricky Sanders, at that time, Ricky wasn't starting, but Ricky was mine and Art's backup receiver. I was like, if I get hurt and Ricky comes in, I might not get to play again. That's the way I look at it. I'm being completely honest. So I kind of forced myself to play hurt because I didn't want somebody else taking my job. If you're not looking over your shoulder, then your team is just average. If you're looking over your shoulder, then your team is extremely well. I mean, you got great chances of winning, great chances of success. And I think people forget, like, when Art Monk got hurt, Ricky Sanders came in, played in that 87 season, played. Art came back 3 to 4 games left in the season. Art didn't start. Ricky started. People forget that.
Yeah.
And then in the Super Bowl, Ricky started. Broke the record in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the way that we became the posse is the next season when they said first team up, Ricky didn't step into the huddle right away. And after about 30 seconds, Art Monk stepped into the huddle. Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's how Art kept his starting job between all of us. At the end of the day, and then we're always boys. Me, Art, and Ricky were boys. But me and Ricky, we boys. Like, Art's the perfect role model. Me and Ricky, not so much. So we got in trouble together, you know. And I asked him, I was like, dude, why'd you step into the huddle? You know, and then we went to Joe, and he went to Joe because I ragged on him, and he went to Joe, and then that's when the posse was born. The next day in the meeting, Joe said, just want to let everybody know we got 3 starting wide receivers. And that's how the posse was born, quite honestly. We had 3 wides before, but we didn't run that much of it until after that Super Bowl.
That's fascinating,
Joe Gibbs, smart man.
Yeah.
Like, hey, they can't count 2 of them on the field. If I put 3 of them, that defense is going to be strange.
It's too, you know. I mean, we had Clint Ditter, who was a great HVAC at the time, but it was bad for Clint, unfortunately. But I mean, we were a very good threesome. Not that there's a bad threesome. We were a very good threesome.
The fact that you followed it up with "not that there's ever a bad threesome" was such a hell of a line, Gary. That was fantastic. We are talking with Gary Clark, a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 4-time Pro Bowler. I mean, the numbers you have stacked up are incredible. 3 straight seasons with at least 1,100 receiving yards, 89, 90, 91 on teams that are making deep playoff runs. I mean, Gary, you are the real deal, sir, and we appreciate you joining us. You're in the Ring of Fame. I'm curious, a young receiver that the numbers haven't really followed, but he seems to make an impact, especially as a gritty-ass blocker. What do you think of Luke McCaffrey?
I'll tell you what. I mean, he's making a family proud. You know, he's making, you know, you can tell, you know, some things are just built into a legacy of the bloodline, and he seems to be following that bloodline. I mean, honestly, the offenses have been impressive. I mean, they haven't really had a bad game yet, you know. The game that, you know, they only scored 20-plus points was, you know, you had defense, unfortunately, giving up 90-yard drives. You know, that eats up a lot of the clock, eats up a lot of time that you can be on the field. So. But, I mean, I like our team. Our team they're impressive right now. I love how they came back from that loss and put in an impressive win. They should have won the game no matter what, but they made an impressive win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like the excitement back. I remember looking over at the parking lots, and they're all filled, even way back to the street. Yeah. I'm looking everywhere, and I hadn't seen that. I haven't seen that probably in like 6-7 years now.
It's been a while.
It's unbelievable. Like, I mean, what winning does. Winning cures everything. Always has, always will.
Oh, yeah.
People don't like to believe that, but it's the absolute truth. You know, people can say I support all the time. Well, to be totally honest with you, by human nature, it's hard to support something when it's not doing well. You back up a little bit. May not be like some people go 100% back. Some people go 10%, but you're not doing it full out.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have doubt in your mind, it tends to influence your decisions.
Yeah.
You know, and do I want to drive? I mean, you got people there now, you know, you got people who drive them from North Carolina because they're Redskins fans up to the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that when we played, that happened all the time.
Yep.
You know, but then it stopped. And for the first time, last week, for the first time, you looked around in the stadium, you saw mostly 95% was burgundy and gold.
Yep.
And that's been the first time that's happened since Joe was here. That was the last time it happened when Joe was here.
Gary, last one for me. What do you think of the offense? What do you think of Cliff as a play caller and just kind of the design?
I mean, points don't lie. I mean, with me not even knowing what he's calling, all I got to do is look at the scores. I mean, points are scoring, and he's doing a great job calling plays.
Yeah,
sure. It's hard to argue with that.
Gary, let me ask you a serious question.
You can't argue with the points. I mean, even if you hated him, you'd be like, oh, well, yeah. The points kind of like make me the liar, not him.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever not been open?
Maybe. I can't recall the time that I haven't. You know, I'm really trying to find the time that wasn't open. You know,
hey, but if a receiver thinks he's covered, then he's not truly a receiver, right?
Right. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, my job is to come down with the ball. If you put it near me, hope I'm going to come down with it.
There you go.
But I'll tell you what, Ricky Sanders and Terry McLaurin, when that's around them, they're coming down with it.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable how similar they are, how they catch the ball, what they do after the catch. So similar.
That's really cool. Gary, I wanted to say this to you. You were walking around the suite level during the Panthers game, and my friend's son got to meet you, and you let him wear your Super Bowl ring, and he got to tell you about his flag football, and you absolutely made his day. And I've heard about it like
cool.
3 straight days. Just very cool you do that stuff, man.
Oh, no, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, what people don't realize, fans and kids who play the sports are the most important part of the game. They really do. I mean, without the fans, we don't even get to play the game, not get paid for it.
Yeah.
And without the kids, I mean, we all remember what it was like when we were a kid watching people play. We wanted to do what they did. You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be Lynn Swann, you know, or Gene Washington from the Vikings. You know, just what it was.
Yep.
You know, so those kids get to live out their dream and have a chance to. Which I would have had as a kid, I would have had a chance to put on a Super Bowl ring. So if I can make a kid smile by just putting on a ring, it makes my day as well.
I mean, to that point, I was just telling B before you joined us, I remember week 8 in the Meadowlands, the Sunday night game, that 50-yard deep shot play action you caught from Rippon. Like it's ingrained in my brain, man. It was that gave you guys a lead, and I'll never forget that play.
I tell you, I was made up for the one that I dropped. So. I had no chance. I had to catch that one. Let's put it that way. I had to catch both of them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you had 2. You had both scores in that game, and then Chip had the kick. Gary, this is awesome, man. We'll see you on Sunday. Legend of the game.
Sounds good, guys. Appreciate your time. You guys have a great day.
All right, you too, brother.